Today's episode of the Bill Simmons Podcast on the Ringer Podcast Network, brought to you by DAZN. Remember, they have Change Up, a brand new live whip around show that is presented by the MLB and DAZN and whips around the league, jumping out of the best plays as they happen. Get expert analysis from hosts who bring a fresh personality, a new perspective to the game. Adnan Virk, Scott Rogowski. Whoa. It's available on any device, just about. Smart TVs, tablet, mobile, gaming consoles. Getting set up is easy. Download the DAZN app in the Apple or Android app store. Sign up by creating an account. Start watching across any of your devices. Go to DAZN to sign up. DAZN. We're also brought to you by TheRinger.com and the Ringer Podcast Network, the world's two greatest places for content. Binge Mode is finally back. You can listen to their recap of episode 1 of Game of Thrones. You can watch our Game of Thrones coverage on our Twitter show, Talk the Thrones, hashtag Talk the Thrones, or at Ringer on Twitter. Also, the Ringer NBA show is firing up starting this week. Not only do we have me and Russillo taping on Sunday night. You ready for that, Kyle?
Yes, always.
You get fed. We get to watch Game of Thrones. Yeah, it's great. Also, the Ringer NBA show will also be taping Sunday night as well. So you'll have double basketball in the morning for yourselves. A lot of good stuff going on at the Ringer. With the NFL draft coming up, we have draft boards right now. Danny Kelly did one for the NFL. He has thrown himself into the NFL draft like nothing I've ever seen. People are in awe. People are just walking around the Ringer offices right now going, God, Danny Kelly, I can't believe we get to work with this guy. Incredible effort by him. Kevin O'Connor, not to be outdone. He just released his top 30 draft board for the NBA, and I was looking through it, and the Celtics have just a bunch of non-lottery picks, and I was just looking at these guys who kind of have potential, but not really, and just getting bummed out. Thank God they're up 2-0 in the series. We're going to talk about that in a second. Coming up, we're going to talk to Daryl Morey, Rockets GM, about the Rockets having kind of a look to them now, and I mean that in a positive way. Also, James Harden's possible MVP season and a whole bunch more. He's been on this pod many times before. Also, Van Lathan, Rembert Browne, they're coming in to talk about Kanye, talk about the Michael Jackson doc, and most important, talk about Nipsey Hussle. So that is all coming up. But first, our friends from Pearl Jam. All right, we're taping this. It is 4 o'clock Pacific time, Thursday, so there's some basketball games coming up. If anything crazy happens to them, I'm sorry. What can I do? Daryl Morey on the line right now, Rockets GM. He's been the Rockets. He's worked for them for 13 years, and I don't want to jinx this. I'm going to knock on wood for you. This is the best I've ever felt about your team. Let's start there. What do you think of that?
You never feel good about our team, so this is a big moment.
That's not fair.
Big moment.
That's not fair.
How's your track record? I want to know how your track record is.
My track record most of the time has been really good. I think there were 2 years where I picked the under for you guys, and you got mad at me. It was like, we never go under. We never, every year. We always overachieve.
We're always the over, except 1 year where we're under by 15.
Yeah.
That year when the wheels came off in Dwight's last year.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, we don't talk about that anymore. Hey, I've been saying how you guys have the look. There's a look to your team. And I will define the look as this. You know who you are. The hierarchy is in place. Everyone knows who the best guy in the team is. Everyone knows who the second best guy in the team is. Everyone knows what their role is. You took care of business in those first 2 games, which is what you had to do. And there's just a general feel with this team. At what point in the season did you feel like this team had that look?
I'd say after the All-Star break, we just started, and you watch enough basketball, it's if you're just squeaking out games, you're probably not going to be winning the title. I mean,
yeah,
it's the reality. And most of the year we were squeaking out games. We were winning enough, but we were squeaking them out. But post All-Star, we had every player healthy. We had, to your point, our guys off the bench in clear roles with Austin Rivers, Gerald, Daniel House, Iman Shumpert, Fareed. Mike was really settling in on how he was going to use them. And then we just started beating teams in a big way. Our only losses really were to Milwaukee on the second night of a back-to-back. And then we had one night where we just had a bad night. But I think we were, over the last 20 games, I think we won 16 games, something like that. That's when I was like, hey, this might be the time. Obviously, we're still, if we advance past Utah, we're still about to face a buzzsaw of a team. But there's a lot of confidence in the locker room right now, and let's see if we can turn it into doing what we've been trying to do for a long time here.
So last year, I don't know if you know this, but you came really close to winning the title last year. And
I'm pretty.
I don't know
if familiar.
I don't know if you blocked it out or if you had a hypnotist remove the second half of Game 6, Game 7, but that was a really, really brutal loss, and one of those losses where you kind of don't know if the team's going to be the same after, and if you had your window, and if the way the league works, you have that window, you only come close so many times. And
you and I were leading parallel lives as we were watching the rim rattling.
Oh
Celtics
I had
Rockets.
it was twice in 24 hours. But in your case, it was like, man, Chris Paul, who knows at his point in his career, you're going to get like a great season out of him anymore? Is he going to move into a different phase of his career? Will Harden ever be this good again? And then the team goes into the next season, and there was definitely a little bit of a hangover. Now, you changed the personnel a little bit, so that's one of the reasons it got better.
Some of that was on me.
Yeah.
I would say.
You took a couple gambles, but did you feel like there was a hangover those first 20 games from how close you came the year before?
I'll be frank, it was really hard to figure out what was going on. A lot of the acquisitions weren't playing well, so that's why I say it's on me. Really, even our starters weren't playing well, so that could be a hangover. I don't know what. We could have just had bad luck. Honestly, we didn't have Coach Bizdelik, who was a big part of our defense the prior year. We had just a bunch of things all at once not going well.
Yeah.
And frankly, I was in, I was like in an aggressive mode of let's just fix everything.
Yeah.
And so, brought Coach Bizdelik back, and our owner was a big part of that. Obviously changed out personnel over time. Injuries took Chris and Clint out, and they came back. And it all sort of meshed towards the end of the year, which was our hope. You always hope that you're meshing and peaking in April. It doesn't always happen. But so I can't really tell you which of those changes that were made mattered. And then obviously James Harden somehow got better, which, I mean, internally we had talked about after every offseason, he gets better. His right hand gets better. This gets better. That gets better. Internally we were like, well, it was almost like Pixar's on the string of amazing movies, and then it's like, well, how does he top that? How does he top last season? And he's somehow done it again. It's really astonishing to watch what James is doing.
Do you feel like the other players now feel like he's the best player in the league?
Yeah, absolutely. Like and you know basketball history better than almost anyone I know. And the deference he gets, and he just won the players poll, which was like some poll the players union did.
Yeah.
And the deference he gets is unbelievable. The only time I've really seen it was really maybe towards Kobe.
Yeah.
Like when when we had Ron Artest and Shane, who are two of the better, I think, wing defenders in NBA history, on our team, like they would talk in like mythical ways about Kobe and what he's able to do and how he's impossible to stop. That's sort of how I feel people talk about James a little bit, in terms of like, what he's able to do and how unstoppable he is.
Yeah, I mean, that was the best two cases for him for MVP as I tried to decide what to do was that I think there's a real deference to how good he is now with the other guys, and you can really see it game to game. And then the other thing is just digging out of that 8 and 14 hole when it actually seemed like you might not make the playoffs there for like a week because the West seems so stacked.
We always felt like playoffs were going to be fine, but you're really not winning the title if you're squeaking into the 8th spot.
Right, if you're really 43 and 39. Yeah.
Right.
So
yeah,
those were the two best cases for him. I still went, I talked to you about it. I went with Giannis. I thought it was by a hair, and I really thought those were two of the best MVP seasons of the decade. Definitely like two of the best six.
Yeah, you can't go wrong this year. Both players were amazing. Yeah, as I've said to publicly a little bit and to people, like, this is a year not to get mad about who people pick. Like, just two amazing candidates. James has had a few years where there were multiple deserving, and it was fine. It's really just the one year that really sort of stands out that people didn't really do their homework on who should win.
Well, at least I wasn't one of those people.
No, you might have.
I'm on the right side of history.
I like he had shirts made about it.
I did. Funny. Look, sometimes everybody's we got to see. We got to put it all on the table and see who's going to be judged.
You are like the basketball historian now. Like, because
I try to be.
Is there a new version of the basketball book coming? It's got to be. You got to make an updated version, right?
Yeah, I need some new version of Adderall or something that would allow me to write it. That would give me the strength. I'm old now.
Maybe when your kids graduate from high school, you get a little time. You got to update the pyramid. You got there's a bunch of stuff that needs to be updated.
Well, I have been updating the pyramid. I just keep it for myself. What's funny is where Harden just keeps climbing every time I dig into the document. I think now if you won the title, I think that makes him the 4th best guard of all time.
Which is amazing. So you're talking across point guards and shooting guards there.
I'm sorry, 4th best 2 guards. 4th best 2 guard. Yeah.
It seemed high.
Yeah.
James has a lot of his career left, to be fair.
Yeah, because I think
gotcha. Who are the 3 for sure ahead of him, you think?
Well, you got Jordan, you got Jerry West, you got Kobe and Jerry West. You got those 3 that had full careers.
Pretty good group.
A lot of rings, finals appearances, all kinds of, you're talking over a decade of just doing stuff. What's interesting about his career is, as you said, he's added something every year for the last 5 pretty much, but the 5-year stretch he just had is all time. It really is. It's like one of the best 5-year offensive stretches anybody's had. It's not quite on the level of Jordan's best 5 or Kareem's best 5, but on that next tier, like his best 5 numbers wise is as good as any 5 Durant seasons. I
have a question for you, because there have been players that defenses had been, teams are having to design hold schemes to stop.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen anything like where a team is just like, I'm just gonna play behind the guy, not even between the player and the hoop?
No, but it does remind me of some of the stuff that was going on with Jordan in the late 80s, early 90s, where he really evolved defense in as weird as that sounds. If you go back and watch the games from the 80s, I don't feel like people played defense the last 5 minutes, but it wasn't quarter by quarter. And he was the first guy that teams really concentrated on how to stop him for 4 straight quarters. I can't remember seeing that before.
Some analogies that, when the Celtics won the title and went against those Laker teams in the recent past.
Yeah.
Where Kobe, where Doc Rivers and Thibodeau were designing their whole D to, trap Kobe, and then if he beats the first guy, there's a guy overloading the strong side, and it sort of reminds me a little of that. I remember Kobe having quotes about how it was the most impossible defense for him to go against.
Yeah, and they were trying to rope him into doing hero ball anyway, even though they had 2 guys on him. Iverson faced some weird stuff too, and I think there was a couple Wade years there when he didn't have a lot of help, where he was putting up 30 a game and kind of being defended the same way Harden is. Yeah, I think
era, right?
I think the difference with this is, what did he shoot, like 11, 12 free throws a game? The punishment that he takes and his ability to withstand, I think what do you think? He'd take 6 to 7 pretty big hits a game now, right?
Yeah, it's gone down, I would say, and I've been pleased. Like he's really diversified his game with the floater.
Yeah.
With the step backs. he's done it. So I'm feeling just like we're very optimistic on Chris Paul going forward, because a lot of his games IQ and obviously elite, passing. The James's game has evolved from, obviously like Wade's had, where he's going to the hoop all the time, to where a lot of it's sort of diversified, which I think will help keep our run going forward.
Well, it's funny. He ruined basketball, and so did you. You were the 1A and 1B of when people talk about how basketball has been ruined. Do you read the two examples?
We like to talk about it as enhancing basketball. I think if you teleport anyone who's a young fan, like take your kids and took them back to an average game in 1994 or something.
Yeah,
like
it'd be pretty bad.
The Zara, the Telestrators, Cleveland average teams against some random Detroit team at the time, you'd be like 70 to 65. Like I think we're helping basketball. But
well, remember the Celtics Pistons series? What was that in 2002? The 67 to 65 game. Remember that?
Oh, I was there.
Yeah, me too. It was awful.
Boston.
Yeah, it was a rock fight.
No, people I don't even think it would be recognizable, some of those games. So how people are guarding James Harden now, I've been talking to people. So Dick Harder was at the Celtics when I first started, and he was part of that generation of coaches that was really designing defenses to keep players from ever having a full head of steam toward the hoop. They would hard hedge or trap to turn the ball handler and never get anything that would put you in jeopardy with the referees. And now we're in 2019, and teams are giving James a full head of steam to the hoop with his right hand. A Dick Harder rip must be rolling over in his grave right now. So
yeah, it's tough. I mean, a lot of stuff has gone in the direction of somebody like Harden. The hand check rules changed. The
defensive 3 seconds.
Defensive 3 seconds. The pace where you have like the ball goes out of bounds or a rebound, it's a 14-second reset. Everything about basketball is a little bit faster, which is great for him. And then, he really worked on his game. He really did add something. It seemed like every year. And I always thought, that when you made the trade, I think I was one at the forefront of people who just couldn't believe it. But I never thought he'd become this.
You were. Yeah, you're on record. You have a Zach Lowe.
I wrote 2 columns. I have two columns and a podcast. Yeah. But
I know.
I never thought he was going to be the best offensive player in the league.
Nobody. It's impossible to see that. I mean, there were signs when he came off the bench. He was arguably the best offensive player in the league at OKC, but everyone had reasonable counters, and even us wonder, because he was a lot of times against backups, not usually getting the best defender.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, well, maybe, but no, he's just had a new level, every single year. And if you go back, it was like 50-50 on that trade, whether people liked it or not, which side they liked.
Yeah, that's
pretty amazing. If you
that's embarrassing. I don't know what to say about that. That's pretty bad. The team this year, as you look ahead to the Warriors, you're getting them in round 2, not round 3. Is that weirdly beneficial, or am I crazy?
To
get them earlier?
It's hard to know. Yeah, I mean, we can't control it. To be frank, we don't spend a lot of time on it. But we have talked about it internally, and it could work in our favor, but it's very hard to know. I mean, I think as much as we could get injured, so could they. So I mean, it's very, very difficult to know. I mean, all I know is that we pretty much knew we were going to have to beat them. So does the order really matter? Probably not. Would have been nice to get home court like last year. I think that could be a big factor. Obviously, last year at Oracle, their fans are great. I do think not having home court is a factor. I do think we're a better team going in the series, but without home court, so maybe our odds are similar to last year. I don't know. We do feel very strong we have a real shot at it, but obviously they're the champs. 3 of the last 4 years.
I was looking at I was looking at it more like from a health standpoint, you're completely healthy right now, knock on wood. And the longer the playoffs go, and especially, Chris has battled like nagging injuries his entire career with stupid little hamstring tugs or whatever. And you just know if you can get through this Utah series.
We are slightly older than them, so it could work in our favor. Yeah.
When does the 3-point barrage revolution? It feels like there's more left. Like Milwaukee averaged 44 threes a game in the regular season. Are we headed toward 50? Is 50 realistic?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, just because the talent coming in is going to be, you look at college, that's super 3-point heavy. Younger kids are watching the league now. So I just see the skill level go up, and that'll probably drive even more as well.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. I think you're going to be in the first paragraph of this. Who was the one who said everybody should shoot threes initially? Was that you, or did you borrow that from somebody else?
Well, I mean, to be fair, if you go back to Don Nelson, maybe. I mean, saying you should shoot more threes, it's not like it's rocket science, right? So I think we were maybe the first organization from top to bottom to commit to that as the direction we were heading. And it's really more of a larger commitment to using data and, breaking the game down. So I do think, that we are at the forefront of having a full organizational commitment, which has obviously been seen, first at our D-League club and now a lot of those principles at this club. And then Mike D'Antoni sort of turbocharged it.
Yeah.
But it would be hard. It would be like, who's the first Euro step, right? I don't people have tried to trace that, and there was a bunch of players doing it. It's just obviously Ginobili was the first very prominent guy, and then James took it to the next level himself.
Well, now you're going to turn your attention to soccer if you win the title somehow. Now, soccer's your next thing about...
I'm pretty committed to here, but you and I both have kids who play soccer a lot, and so we see a lot of games. So I know you and I have chatted about... It reminds me a lot of basketball in the early 90s, where there's a lot of these arguments like, oh, we do this because that's what the top coaches do. Well, the top coaches all thought 3-pointers were stupid and offensive rebounding was bad. And I can point to like 50 things top coaches thought in basketball were a smart thing in the early 90s that for sure were not. And people were winning with suboptimal strategies. I see very similar things in soccer where they assume that because top teams are doing them, it's smart. But the reality is they just have more money and better players. So they're winning because of that, not because of the strategy they employ on the field.
So you are a fan of the tactic of pressure, 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 always move forward. You don't care about possession and kicking the ball backwards to keep the ball and then make another run. You don't believe in that at the adult level at all.
Yeah, I mean, at the pro level, and I just talked about this with Roger Bennett, who you know well, since he got started at Grantland. And again, there's been innovators in soccer. The pressing, getting it to the other end, and then pressing is obviously a big factor. They need to translate that into how teams play defense. Teams are still trying to too much possess in the backcourt. I wouldn't say possession doesn't matter. I would just say there's always a balance between how much you weigh possession versus getting into the right field position for scoring opportunities. And right now that weighting feels off to me for pro. I watch a lot of Premier League now because of my son.
Yeah.
And that weighting seems off. And it's changing pretty quickly, actually, when I watch. Like the pressuring, the full pressing, when you have it in the other end is something that teams are adopting more and more of.
Yeah, because most goals are dumb goals that are mistakes from the other team. So I think that's what, my daughter's 13. I was telling you how the way the best teams play at her level, they don't care as much about the possession. They care more about, kicking the ball ahead to their fast kids and hoping something gets screwed up and mixing some pressure into that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's true in basketball defense too. Like, all these defenses are often designed around, like, we're going to do this rotation, and if they pass it here, we're going to do this rotation. But it's like, we measure this. It's like 30 to 50%, depending on the team, where a team makes a defensive mistake.
Yeah.
So, and that's on every possession in basketball. It has to be true in soccer as well. So playing really more for these like pragmatic mistakes is often better than like, let's figure out what's going to happen when I draw it on a piece of paper and I have exactly the right passes being made and no touch errors, no anything like that. So all this is coming. Once the data starts coming to soccer, which is coming, all these changes are coming, and the coaches who adopt it will do better. The ones that don't won't.
Yeah, I might have to hire somebody from the Sloan Conference to just watch all of my daughter's soccer games and just do a whole bunch of advanced metrics on it. I really think some great stuff could happen.
Well, to your point, I think you made it that at the lower levels, though, for development, some of the style that is most optimal may not be how you want to play when you're trying to develop passing, touch skills, possession skills, all that stuff. All that stuff still matters. It's just, at the pro level.
Yeah, I was telling you the possession in 1v1 is what our team cares about. But you play in a game and somebody's doing the other style and they get 2 chances and all of a sudden you lose 2-1. You're like, what the hell just happened? We dominated the possession. But that's why soccer's so freaking frustrating.
Like, you can do everything right and get 0, and you can do everything wrong and get 0, and you can do everything wrong and still get 1 because the goalie makes a bad mistake. It's just, and every mistake is magnified. It's why I'm very down on teams that create chances through trying to play through the feet of their goalie.
Right.
And most coaches love it because most coaches were field players, and they value it's crazy. They value the feet skills of a goalie over their ability to stop shots. So it's just really there's just I could go on.
Well, that's why we love basketball, because you have a 7-game series. The right team usually wins. And in a situation even like last year where, you guys came so close and it didn't happen, it was, you kind of had yourself to blame. You missed a lot of open shots, Very rarely does the wrong team win a basketball series. It's usually because of, an injury at the worst possible time, or, something like that 2002 Kings situation, or for the most part, it's the right team.
Yeah, and I love that as a team that's good.
Yeah.
But for a league, for the NBA, I actually think it's bad. I think there should be more
variance. Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise, there's just too many series, too many games during the season where people know, okay, this team's 90-some% to win. Why am I tuning in? So, I think the league does a good job. They're trying to make strides to improve that. And one thing I love of the NBA is we're not stuck in our history. I think it took baseball 80 years to figure out you should just give the guy a free base.
For an intentional walk, yeah.
A huge innovation. Oh my God, the sport's ruined. We're going to let them do an intentional walk.
Yeah.
Whereas, every year I think the league at the NBA level does a nice job making tweaks to the rules to improve it.
Yeah, I agree. Good luck in the series.
Thanks.
And good luck for the rest of the playoffs. And, my heart's with the Celtics, but I'm always rooting for you a little bit too.
Well, last year we almost had the Celtics record.
Yeah, maybe
final.
this year.
This would be a good year for that. Hope I see you in Houston and not too. I know you're big time now. You only come for the final. So.
Well, if there was a great Game 6 next round, if you make it next round, I might be roped into that one. If there was a Game 6 and you guys were up 3-2, that might be a can't miss sporting event. So good luck. Thanks for calling in. We appreciate it.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
I'll talk to you soon.
Bye. All right, we're gonna get to Van and Rembert in a second. I wanted to read Kyle the Patriots schedule.
Nice.
You ready for this?
Yeah, I snuck a peek, but let's go.
Let's just go through it really quick. Patriots over under 11 wins.
Yeah.
First game Sunday night, Steelers home. Not losing that.
No, not without.
Come on. Stop it.
Le'Veon, great.
At Miami, week 2, that feels like a loss. Be 85 degrees. Brady with the 4 picks. I could see us losing that one. Jets home, week 3. At Bills, week 4. What is that? 3-1 at that point?
That's a gimme.
We blow one of those stupid games.
Buffalo's a gimme, though.
Week 5, at the Redskins. We win that one. Week 6, Giants. Come on. That's a night game too. Week 7 at the Jets. Could be 6-1. That feels like 6-1 to me.
They all feel like 6-1 to me, dude. I'm just such a shithead about all this.
This is great. People are getting so mad. Sorry. Cleveland Browns.
Oof, scared.
October 27th. So that's coming off a Monday night game at the Jets and then Browns. That one scares me a little. Then at the Ravens the next week. Probably split those.
I don't want to lose to the Browns. I'd rather lose to the Ravens.
Feels
Lamar.
like 7-2. At the Eagles. Maybe we lose that one. Maybe this is when What's Wrong with the Patriots starts. We need that for to happen
Every
in the
Super Bowl
season.
season that we have to have.
Yeah. Or maybe that happens the next week. Dallas, home. Wow, Dallas in Foxborough. That has not happened that many times in my lifetime. Dallas playing
That's a good point.
in New England. That feels like 8-3 still. I'm sorry. At Houston. Can't remember the last time we lost to Houston. When was the last time we lost to
I
Houston?
could look it up if you want.
Does not happen very often. That feels like a win. Kansas City, December 8th. But again, the schedule fairies gave us that one in Foxborough.
Yes.
A little cold.
Oh, give me that one.
A little
I need that
revenge game. Then we have at Cincinnati, home for Buffalo, home for Miami. That feels like 12. I don't know. I can't name more than 2 receivers or tight ends on the team right now since the draft hasn't happened yet and they haven't really signed anybody. That feels like 12-4 to me.
Feels great.
Always trust
feels like
the
the
infrastructure.
AFC East to me. Feels like it might be the AFC. That's awesome.
Always trust the infrastructure, Kyle. Speaking of odds, AL East right now, Yanks -110, Rays +165, the Red Sox +350. We're not even in the last 8 days of April yet. Everyone's just bailed on the Red Sox. I'm not ready to bail yet. It's a long season. They have a $250 million payroll. I'll tell you this, though. Have not enjoyed the season so far. Have not enjoyed really anything about it. Quick NFL over-unders. I want to talk about this more next week. I'm going to have Sal come on. But I wanted to mention, Pats were 11 wins. Bears 9.5 seem low to me.
Yeah, nobody believes. I believe.
You believe? They go 10-6, right?
They're my Madden team now.
Colts 9.5 seem low to me. I would say that Pats, Colts, Chiefs would be my 3 for the AFC. Saying this before the draft and having barely looked at all the rosters. It's just those are the 3 on my radar. Jags 8 wins.
Too high.
Nick Foles, Big Dick Nick.
Oh yeah, forgot about the big dick.
Or maybe it's just high enough. Chiefs are 10.5. So that would be the pick if you were going to say who is the most obvious 1 seed that's going to go 13-3, 14-2. But, you never know. Steelers 9 wins I thought seemed super high. Did not understand that at all. That is a bet the infrastructure over under. Niners 7.5 wins, and that is already at -130 from what I've seen. And that feels a little bandwagon-y to me, but I do like the over. And then Washington 6.5 wins. House wants to do the under. House says they're going to win between 5 and 6. At some point. And then for NBA odds, the Celtics are still in +1,500 to +1,700 range, depending on where you look. Portland, 55-1 right now. And probably the safest bet to make the Western Finals, I would say, because who knows with this Denver Spurs series. So there you go. Quick things to look for the NBA playoff weekend. Just very, very quickly. Don't get carried away with the Celtics yet. They're supposed to win at home. Indiana is not a good team. Especially their guards, and the Celtics really easily could have blown game 2. But I do feel like we're really. I know this is a cop out, but we're really not going to know with this Celtics team till next round because this Indiana team is not going to be able to push them. You're supposed to win the first 2 games at home. I'm not ready to declare that this is now playoff Kyrie and playoff Tatum, all this stuff. They're supposed to beat Indiana twice at home. They were 7.5-point favorites in each game, so that happens. Then the only thing to look for, the Portland OKC series, I think that's the most interesting game 3 because you have an OKC team now that came really, really close to making the finals in 2016 and has not been able to get out of the first round since, that spent a lot of money last year and this year, that has a roster that really can't be messed around with because Westbrook and George make so much money. Schroeder's on the books for next year. So's Adams. They tied up, I think, Jeremy Grant. They gave $8 million a year. There's really no way to maneuver at all. And if they get swept in this series, and then it turns out Paul George has a torn rotator cuff or something, that'll be brutal. And you might be looking at the end of the decade, the start of the decade, so promising. Durant, Westbrook, Harden, Ibaka seemed like the team of the decade, and now they'd be coming out of the decade having only one finals game and having not been able to get out of the first round in the last 3 years. So I'll be really interested to see how they respond. And on the flip side, Portland, at one of these points, we're going to realize Dame Lillard is one of the best 7 guys in the league, and it might be even right now. So I'm watching that one. I'm watching the Warriors, obviously, to see the chemistry stuff. And then with Denver, San Antonio, and I don't know what happened. We're taping this late Thursday afternoon, so I don't know what happened tonight. But it does worry me that Denver relies on Jamal Murray so much, and that how he ebbs and flows has single-handedly determined what happened to them in those first 2 playoff games. They're going to need a third guy. That cannot be their swing guy, because I don't think he is consistent enough. He's too erratic, and he just can't be their guy that decides every game. So I'll be interested to see how they maneuver away from that over the course of the Spurs series. I thought they were going to blow out the Spurs, and now it feels like that's going to go 7. And I think they're going to figure out how to make Toronto, Orlando, or Philly, Brooklyn go 7, because there's always 2 that go long. So anyway, that's all I got for you on the basketball front. Can't wait to watch the games this weekend. Russillo and I are come back Sunday night, and we're going to break down every single thing that happened. Coming up, Rembert and Van. First, quick break, and then we're going to talk to them. Let's talk about JCPenney, specifically Collection by Michael Strahan, available exclusively at JCPenney. When you look good, you feel good. Raise your game with Collection by Michael Strahan for all the bold looks that take your style to the next level. Style starts with confidence. Collection by Michael Strahan is designed to inspire just that. The essence of Collection by Michael Strahan are looks that will inspire you, from tailored suiting, dress shirts, denim. Collection by Michael Strahan includes suit separates, sport coats, dress shirts, neckwear, belts, accessories, basics, denim, luggage, and shoes. You like all those things, Kyle.
I like all those things.
Big and tall, boy sizes too. Collection by Michael Strahan includes high-tech fabrics with stretch features, flex fabric, wrinkle resistance, and much more. Collection by Michael Strahan, available exclusively at JCPenney. Visit a store near you to go to jcp.com. Explore Michael's lifestyle content on michaelstrahan.com. And again, if you want to go to JCPenney and check all this out, jcp.com. All right, we're taping this on a Wednesday. Van Lathan is here.
What up?
He's been here before.
Yeah,
He's here again. Rembert Browne, my old Grantland teammate.
Hey, bud.
Always good to see you.
Always
Coming
good to
off
see
our
you.
Pulitzer Prize-winning Rewatchables podcast about Major League.
Yeah, I'm excited that we won so many awards already.
I can't believe it. I didn't know we could win a Pulitzer
It's
for
like,
it.
wow, I thought we missed the deadline, but they actually got us in. Congrats to us.
So Van's from Louisiana.
Baton Rouge, yeah.
That's my
Rem's
first.
from Atlanta. I don't know if there's going to be some tension in this.
No,
but,
I have
you
no-
know,
I have
those
no
two
beef.
states don't really get along.
I have no beef with Baton Rouge.
Okay.
No beef. But you have beef with any other parts of Louisiana?
Just like
Yes.
Saints related things.
Yeah, it's all Saints related.
Oh, wow.
Are
yeah.
you a Saints fan?
What do you think, dog? Of
Yeah,
course. Like,
that's right. We're going to get over this.
Okay,
That's fine. That's fine.
Cool. This is a fun.
Oh, wait. Oh, this is some Falcons bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he thinks it's bullshit.
Right.
I don't understand the bullshit part of that.
I
sentence.
think, remember that?
I mean, the bullshit is that one team has won a Super Bowl and the other team hasn't.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
This is such a bad start.
Fun ambush of a podcast. Yo, great to meet you, Van.
The pass interference penalty, he was
Jesus.
celebrating
Hey,
for months and
One of
months.
the greatest moments of my
You
life.
can still
Oh
celebrate.
Hey, you know what's funny
Legal
though?
hit.
Because of my NFL boycott, like I wasn't watching it, and I'm jogging, right? Because in order for me to not watch the games,
Yeah.
I have to do something while the games are on, or it won't work.
Yeah.
It won't work. So the game is on, and I'm running.
Oh, so the boycott won't work.
The boycott will not work if I stay in my house. I physically don't have the strength not to watch the games. So I have to I won't not watch if I'm in the
So
crib.
you're just jogging for 4
I'll
hours?
jog.
It's all
I'll,
football Sunday.
I'll jog,
Going to the Grove.
go to Griffith Park, like all kinds of things, like different little activities. And I was jogging, and I'm listening to music, and my phone starts going crazy, and I'm ignoring people, and my dad calls. My dad calls and he goes, "Listen, I don't give a fuck about your politics and shit like that. You gotta know what the fuck just happened to us. Stop what you're doing. Get somewhere so you can see what just happened to the
injustice.
Saints. Like you have to know. You cannot not know what just happened to the Saints. And so I watched it, and it was ridiculous. But you know what? As a football fan, you shouldn't even be down with that.
No, he loved it.
Who said I'm a football fan? I'm a Falcons fan.
Yeah. It's the first thing that made him feel good about 28-3.
I literally was beating my chest like Denzel. I loved it. I was like, I want more of that.
How long is the football boycott? Is this just going to go on indefinitely, or
you know what's crazy is that I've backed myself into a corner now to where I don't see how it's going to end. Yeah. I'm seriously, I don't see, because
what was the genesis? The Kaepernick thing?
Well, the genesis was the Kaepernick thing, right? And so, but then after the Kaepernick thing, it became about like what I thought the league was doing, which was, rather than leaning into some of these issues that Colin Kaepernick was talking about, like actively trying to suppress him and like just take away any power of the movement that he was the conversation he was trying to start. And once you've learned that about the league, like how does that get undone?
Yeah.
Like even if they were to sign Colin Kaepernick, which would be good for him, if he's already got like a huge settlement, that wouldn't change anything that I feel like I know about the NFL. I mean, so I don't know. I really have I'm being honest. I don't know how I undo it at this point.
I hit a boycott every year once we go at least 3 games under 500.
That's
and then my boycott gets like I'm like,
right.
This league should be shut down.
Right.
Yours is more
until we regroup next year.
Failure making you feel bad about yourself. So what was the turning point? When did you say, that's it, I'm out?
When they instituted that rule that was going to penalize everybody for kneeling. When even I know that they went back on that.
Yeah.
But even listen, you can't expect everyone to believe and think and want the same things that you want, right?
Yeah.
You can't. But the only thing you can ask for, to me, is intellectual decency from people. So you have to have enough respect for me to lean into a conversation about certain things, right? And I know that it's a business and that the NFL was trying to do its best to sort of mitigate any damage that Colin Kaepernick was doing to their image. I get it. But they just fucking handled it so poorly. And it was such a fuck you guys kind of attitude. And
you didn't like when Jerry Jones was
no, man.
holding hands with his guys? That didn't warm your heart?
No, dog. It was just such a putrid, cliche, maintain the status quo way that it just really rubbed me the wrong way. But I tell you one thing, it's a very small chance that for the rest of my life, I'll never fucking watch NFL football again. I just don't see that happening.
I thought the worst of the NFL the whole time. So it really didn't change anything for me.
Yeah.
I was like, I already had made the deal with the devil to watch this league that, was pushing concussions under the rug and all the shit they did. It's like, all right, I still like football. Okay,
Yeah.
I guess I'm okay with it. I don't know. What do you think, Rem?
I got really into the MLS.
Oh, that's true. Atlanta's MLS team.
Yeah. I luckily, I think it's just the funniest thing that, like, Atlanta's now a soccer town because
like a signature soccer town.
Yeah, because we all have just like true PTSD and like we like try to act like we've never had a football team. Like, yeah, we're a storied soccer town.
Yeah.
Because we won something.
That is the most confusing sports thing I've witnessed this decade, was Atlanta becoming like the Yankees of the MLS.
Because they run shit and
yeah, but like there's like 72,000 people going.
I don't understand it.
Like word?
Yeah,
like
really, they have 70,000 people
like
at home
Liverpool
games
in downtown Atlanta.
In Atlanta,
and they're going fucking crazy for it.
I'll be honest with you though. People underestimate the MLS, and places like the MLS has incredibly devoted fans in the places where it's popping, man.
Yeah, which is more than like 10, 11 cities at this point.
Yeah,
it's
Seattle. That fan base,
Portland,
is ridiculous, Portland, right there. Yeah, man.
I think Toronto has a big one.
Yeah,
I forgot the whole list. Cincinnati is pretty good. I think
it was like
LAFC's been good.
It was a perfect storm of like they were good, so that clearly helps. But it happened at the exact same time as the Falcons blowing the Super Bowl, building a new stadium, and the Braves moving out of town.
Yeah.
It was like it all happened at the exact same time. So people were like, and they were selling like season tickets for like $45.
Oh, that'll get you
so
out.
just like everyone I know like has some type of season ticket situation. So it's just like a fun thing.
There's some weird Atlanta sports renaissance going on though, because the Trae Young thing and him being like the fourth member of Migos. And
it's amazing.
All this stuff. It's like, I love all this stuff.
Yeah, and we're going to get Zion. So like, there's a lot of good things happening.
If they rig it so the Hawks get Zion, that becomes the internet's favorite team ever.
I always wondered.
I will be on Zillow.
Does Atlanta
immediately?
Do people in Atlanta really give a fuck about the Hawks though?
I don't think they've had a lot of reasons to give a fuck.
I'm saying because the Hawks have had times where the Hawks have been good. I remember like Kevin Willis, Mookie Blaylock, Hawks days.
Some electric teams.
Hall of Famer.
But I remember a time when they won a lot. They won a bunch of games.
We were a perennial 4 seed, 4 or 5
like
seed.
Dominique was the most fun it's been for the Hawks, but that was 30 plus years ago.
Yo,
you were barely alive.
Those 2 Josh Smith years, incredible.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Joe Johnson.
Then someone told him that he was a 3-point shooter, and then the franchise fell apart.
When I met Rem in 2011, had they signed Joe Johnson to the crazy extension
that was before,
yet?
Yeah. Well, he was in the middle. No, he didn't have the extension yet.
In 2011, he didn't?
I think he was about to get it.
Was he about to get it?
Or he had it. All of a sudden, he was making like 30 plus million a year.
He was like the highest paid player in the league.
And Rem was so upset about it.
He's my least favorite person. I cannot stay. I honestly, one of like 4 people I would just like absolutely say.
So it's like Vladimir Putin, and then it's like Josh.
Oh yeah, but no, I'm not ranking.
Depends on the day.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not ranking. I'm just putting them in the same list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Atlanta's had more bad luck than anything. That's why it would be so much fun if they got Zion.
Oh my God.
You're talking about Dominique's the most fun player in the history of the franchise, and he peaked in the late 80s.
It's just a dope ass city. It's like a dope ass city. It's a great city. They love their athletes and stuff like that. It's just a cool city. It would be dope to see if they could, be great in basketball.
But it's starting to get a little sad. It reminds me of like the way we talk about Dominique. It's like the way the MSG network still plays like Walt Frazier highlights.
Yeah.
Because like that's the last time the Knicks were good. It's like starting to get like
we're going like shit it all over Patrick Ewing.
Well, oh yeah. But like still like it's like
another one who wasn't that much fun to watch.
There's like 2 things to talk about.
Yeah.
Like 40 years of a franchise. Like we're like 4 generations removed from Dominique at this point.
It's a long time. Like Michael Jackson was releasing Bad when Dominique was in the dunk contest. And now Michael Jackson can't even sell the Neverland Ranch or his estate.
Yeah.
It's apparently you can get it now for $30 million.
Right.
But it's the word in the street. They've dropped the price since the documentary. They've dropped it from 100 to 30. Word on the street.
You watch it?
I did. I was super disturbed.
Yeah.
Wasn't great.
It's hard to watch. Did you shout out to my man Arian Foster? Arian Foster did a whole podcast about why Michael's innocent.
What? When was that?
Why do people?
He released it last week. Shout out to Aaron. Aaron hits me up one day. He texts me. He goes, "Yo, man, Michael didn't do it." I was like,
and you were like, "Which one?"
I was
like, need more info.
I was like, all right, okay. Well, I'm gonna call you, and we're gonna have a long form conversation about that. He was like, need to, man. I'm gonna do it all on the podcast. And he spent some time.
Were you like that?
Nah, go for it. Because listen, there's a counter argument to the Michael Jackson situation, man. There's a counter argument. There is. It's like Aaron goes to the FBI invested Michael. They couldn't find anything for X amount of years.
Yeah, COINTELPRO, the Black Panther.
I'm just saying, there is a different side, and Aaron really believes that Michael Jackson never did this. Some inconsistencies in Safe Chuck's testimony and some things that he said, Aaron has put this together.
What was his theory for why he exclusively hung out with 9 to 12-year-old boys?
That's the thing you can't really explain.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the part of it that's a little weird.
Maybe that'll be on part 2.
Right.
I just tell you, my son's 11. Mm-hmm. Not like a great hang. I love him to death. 11-year-old boys, not like unbelievably fun to hang out with. Just wants to do his own thing, play video games.
Right.
Not a great conversationalist.
Right.
Really likes professional wrestling. I love him. We're related.
You do understand how Michael Jackson.
I love him. We're related.
Michael Jackson and you are different. Michael was a little bit stunted in his growth and things of that nature. There are people that would say Mike was like mentally still a child and stuff like that, so that's why he gravitated.
Can I?
That's.
I'm not. This, by the way, don't jump in my shit. I'm not. this is not a defense of Michael Jackson. I'm just saying.
Can I have a question.
Yeah.
So like, what does Arian Foster get out of like defending Michael Jackson?
Well, I think that number one, Arian is, as are a lot of people, like it's hard to come to terms with like losing such like a big part of your childhood.
Formative, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. But I really do think with as far as he's concerned, and he speaks for himself a lot better than I can, as far as he's concerned, he really truly does believe this, and he's a guy that delves into things intellectually to a very, very deep degree.
I was gonna say he's an intellectually curious guy.
He is.
So if something doesn't add up for him, he's gonna dive into it.
Okay.
Dive into the thing.
But you know what's funny? Before I watched Leaving Neverland, I said, yo, I don't even, despite I have to watch it, but no matter what comes out, I can't be sure that I'm ready to like not fuck with Michael Jackson anymore. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. There's a part of me that maybe Michael Jackson is such a big part of my childhood and stuff like this that I'll never have a bad feeling about his music. And after I watched the documentary, listen to those stories, they're all believable. I turned on Michael Jackson to see if there was any sort of response from me, and I would be lying if I said that there was.
Let me tell you something that is going on in my life. It's a really hard time to be making a wedding playlist.
Look at you, R. Kelly gone. Michael Jackson.
I don't know what we're gonna do.
Gone.
I don't know what songs are happening at this wedding.
Yeah.
So Michael Jackson can't be in your wedding?
No, it's just something to think about. R. Kelly done. Like literally.
You can't play him. They'll fucking riot. Like they'll free people at the wedding will freak out if they hear.
Can't even play Best of Both Worlds. Jay-Z, R. Kelly.
Nope.
It's just nothing.
I believe I
Yeah,
can fly.
Jay-Z, Unintended Casualty.
Yeah, but yeah, Mike is also kind of like a
Van listens,
Jackson 5 maybe, but then we stop.
Van listens to Michael Jackson when he's boycotting the NFL. Walks around LA. Listens to Thriller.
Hey,
you watch Moonwalker on your phone while you go on a walk.
Never said I was consistent, just said I was dedicated. I never promised you guys consistency. Just said I'm dedicated.
So the wedding playlist has to be like 3.5, 4 hours?
Yeah, I mean,
how would you compare it to the Grantland Party playlist that you used to help me with?
Yo, I actually found a Spotify playlist of like, there's still like a Grantland Spotify channel that I think me and Juliet made.
Yeah,
some good playlists on there.
Juliet has the bombest playlist.
She's really good at it.
I watched into her shit. She had the old school Boys to Men bumping. Like I fuck with the playlist.
Yeah, she has a talent.
There you go. So check that out on Spotify. Speaking of music, we want to talk about Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about this subject and didn't know that much about him. I was stunned by the reaction to his death and then how long it kept going and going and going. And I've been in LA.
Still going.
Yeah. I've been in LA since November 2002. This was one of the 5 most impactful local stories I've seen since I've been here. Like this is up there with, fires and just all the normal Michael Jackson dying.
Yeah.
And it's just it's going and going, and it doesn't seem like it's going to end. It feels like something's changed. Van asked to come on because he wanted to talk about it, and I didn't know enough about it. But I want to hear your perspective first from being here, and you knew him a little bit too.
Yeah. First of all, it's important to say that like when you look at Nip as a rapper and as a community leader and stuff like that, he also was like a man, right? That had a family, so and had a companion. So when you talk about like what he meant to you and stuff like that, it's always a little weird because there are actual children who don't have a dad anymore. There's a beautiful woman, Lauren London, who doesn't have her companion anymore, and my heart goes out to her. And then there's Sam and his mom, and there's a lot of people who lost someone that's really close to them. So you always want to say, yo, they're dealing with actual real pain and loss.
Yeah.
You can't, as much as he meant to us and inspired us, his kids is not going to hug their dad no more. So that's real pain. I think what you're seeing and what people have like sort of sort of the reaction you're seeing is that, and we talked about this a little bit before, is it's actual love. This has to do very little with celebrity. And normally when a famous person passes away, you start to think about in the ways that like we even talked about this with some of the people we just brought up, the way that their music made you feel, the way that their art made you feel. Like this community here in Los Angeles and hip hop community everywhere loved Nip, loved him. And they loved him not even for the amazing music that he made, because of the guy that he was. He was a man worth respecting and worth loving and worth sort of aspiring to sort of be like.
So what were the 3 reasons that was the case?
One is the fact that he almost never talked about himself in a singular way. He spoke about large goals he had for his community and for the people that were around him. You never really heard him go, yo, this is me, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. It's like, this is what we have to do. This is how we have to move. These are the things that we need to sort of reinvest into. Even where Marathon is, that's in his hood. Like he could have easily, with everything that he had, opened up a store on Melrose or La Brea or any other cool urban apparel places that you go, and done that. Nah, he wanted to be vibrant and sort of grounded in the community that he was in.
And was investing in a ton of real estate.
He bought that whole area, right?
Yeah.
He had bought that whole area, that whole strip mall is his. And he had a Vector 90 where kids were going to learn STEM. He was thinking about the future of his community, right?
Yeah.
Which is still going on. Shout out to Dave Gross and the rest of the guys that are doing that. And you know, from the real estate to the ownership to just the message of how to come from the situation that he came from, because everyone knows that Nip was a rolling 60 Crip, and how to take that and then make that into something better and to do it with your own people, to see that extinguished really over what amounts to nothing. I know a lot of people, and myself included, that felt like something changed.
Yeah.
Like something changed when that happened, to where it's like the penalty that was meted out to him for whatever this was, what this robbed us of, we can't continue to lose like this.
Yeah.
Like we can't continue to lose that much over something that doesn't mean anything, you know, whatever it was. And it's just hard to get to wrap your mind around. Like when I remember when this happened, and once again, not about me, about the people who loved him and who he was affecting, but I remember thinking, like for the first time in anything that we've ever reported at TMZ, like praying, God, please don't let this happen. Like, please protect him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want him to die. And it was just, it's just hard, man.
Hey, Hulu's paying some of the league's best players a lot of money to do some pretty crazy stuff. Joel changed his nickname from The Process to Joel Hulu Has Live Sports Embiid. Damian Lillard got a tattoo that says Hulu Has Live Sports. Clearly, they really want you to know that Hulu has live sports. Get over 60 live on-demand channels, tons of shows and movies, and exclusive originals with Hulu. Get rid of your cable. Make the switch. It's only $45 a month. Watch your favorite teams. Well, they got it from
My
you.
barber's got it. It's done wonders for the shop.
I got an email from somebody that says when you grunt during the reads, they know it's a really especially good something. Like if it gets that Kyle grunt of approval. Watch your favorite teams in the biggest games all season. No cable required. Watch on the go and on all your favorite devices. Live TV plan required. Restrictions apply. Learn more at Hulu.com.
I think it's been super interesting I feel like I've had more one-on-one or small group conversations about this than maybe anything in my adult life, just like with other men, other black folk, other black men. Just like there's like a kind of like a sense of almost like helplessness that comes from a moment like this, where you're like, this was the person that like he did everything right. Like he did the thing that you're supposed to do. Like you're supposed to, you know, go off and reinvest in your community. You're supposed to like not forget where you came from. You're supposed to empower those around you. Like that's the person that's supposed to live, you know? And so when that person then just like that is taken from everyone, it's like it's almost like what do we do next? You know, it felt like there was just like a really like I could like just like a sense. It was like a weight on. I feel like everyone I talked to for like the week that followed, because everyone's just like, I mean, if this happens to Nip, like, what do we? I mean, where do we go from here? And like, it was really, you know, I felt that or heard that from people as close to people who, you know, worked with them daily to people who had never met him, you know, like, or just like only really got hip to him maybe even afterwards. But it's just like it's the man, and it's also what he represented. And I think like what Nipsey was successfully doing is what a lot of people hope comes from their life. It's like, you know, you really figure out how to be authentic. You really figure out how to, you know, be someone that, you know, the people, like the kids from the same place that you grew up in look up to. Like all those things are, I feel like, for me, like, how do I do these things? I think a lot of people saw their hopeful futures in what Nipsey Hussle was doing. And so for that person to then get gunned down, it really hit, and is continuing to hit in just such a very real way that I don't really feel like it's just going to disappear.
No.
You know,
it seems like the underlying fear with this is that nobody else is going to want to aspire to do the stuff he did, because this could be how it ends.
It's just the opposite. Everyone, I mean, that's a fear, right? A fear of, there's always a fear of, I remember, it's funny when you text me, you said you brought up Boosie, right?
Yeah.
Boosie did like, you know, Boosie Badass. Are you familiar with him?
Yeah.
He did a very famous interview where he said he felt like he had to leave Baton Rouge because being in Baton Rouge made him vulnerable to haters in his own city, right? He said that a long time ago. But I think that whereas it seems that idea with that this death would like promote that, like that maybe if he had opened up the store on La Brea because he was killed outside of Marathon or something like that, maybe this wouldn't have happened. I think it's the opposite. I think what we're trying to do now is elevate, heighten, and put the spotlight on people who are like him in their communities all over the place. And people are feeling inspired to be more like that, to be more tethered to your community, to produce more people like in the same vein as him. Now, I'm not from here. Like, there are people that are from this community that understand the intricacies and the ins and outs of growing up in that area a lot better than what I could speak on. And they get what it means for him to have been down here. But I do know a godly, kingly, righteous black man when I see one. And that's what that guy was. Like, years ago, I was in Vegas, and I was with some people in Vegas, and they were talking to me. This is like maybe like 2017. I had just recently met Nip this past year. And they said, you know who you need to talk to? They're like, you need to talk to Nipsey Hussle. He is into computers. He is into the community. He is into all different areas of science and things like that, and really wants black people to, especially people in his community, to be more up on that stuff. And I think it would be really interesting for you to speak with him. We didn't get a chance to speak then, but think about, that had nothing to do with rap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That had nothing to do with him being a rapper. That had nothing to do with him being like a celebrity. These were people that were saying, yo, there's more to this man and you should lean into it. I knew him as a rapper then, but I didn't know about some of the other stuff. So I started to look at it. And by that point, that is when my affinity for him really started, when I saw what he was about as a person. And so the outpouring that people have seen, it's about, when you talk about Michael Jackson and these other guys, and like when they pass away, it's about losing a part of your childhood. This is actual love.
Yeah.
And that's why it feels like it's different.
And it's one of those things where, you know, I think we live in a moment where, you know, not in a cynical way, but when people are doing good things, they let everyone else know of the good things that they're doing, you know, like to kind of promote their good stuff. Like, I feel like every day like 2 more things come out about something else that he was doing that was just like very low key. And it wasn't like, I feel like
actual work,
I've been thinking about it because, we don't really live. I feel like, especially for Black people, we're always craving, something that resembles like a civil rights leader or just any type of leader, because we've kind of, this isn't the 60s, it's not the 70s. Like, it's not like, preachers who do speeches and like, it's very, what a leader looks like. It's very different now. And I think that's another reason why this hit so hard, because he was in a very accessible leader. Like, it didn't feel like he was up on a pedestal telling everyone how to live. He was just like, this is the way I think we should live, like these are the things that I think will make my community better. It felt very humbled, and like I'm not an extremely religious person, but in the aftermath of what happened and like thinking about some of the stuff, it did feel like he did feel, and like a lot of people alluded to this, it did feel very like godly, spiritual, like the way that he maneuvered and operated, and it was like, it was so selfless, and
it was just also it was effortless. It was just part of him.
Yeah,
it was part of his DNA to be a good dude.
Yeah.
Do you know how rare that is, especially at the levels that we are talking about when we're talking about performers? It was a part of him to just be a good person.
Yeah, and
so you feel that a little differently. And I think one thing that is happening, once again, it's I'm glad that the culture is inspired. I'm glad that people are inspired. But what hits me, and like Game even posted this morning, like Game just woke up, posted a picture of Nipsey, and is just talking about it. What hits me is that he's actually gone. You know what I mean? And like, so we can be inspired and we can do all of these things in his name, but it just seems like such a gutting sort of reality. But I will say that we're starting to recognize that there are more people like this than we thought that there were.
And there's Nipseys in every city,
every single community. Every single community, there's more people like, and we have to, in order to take control of our situation, make sure that we give those people the proper spotlight, the proper ammunition, the proper adulation they need to be relevant now, so that they can have the resources they need to change these communities. And there are guys everywhere, guys and ladies everywhere doing this work. And I think that it's a reminder that we just can't wait until something unfortunate happens to give all these roses out. We have to do it now.
It seems like that's one way athletes could really help. Like the Westbrook and LeBron too really raised awareness to what happened with Nipsey nationally.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think when people like that, when people see guys, and that's another thing, I've had conversations with people at work about like, yo, I didn't realize he was this important. He's important to people who are important to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when you see how deep Westbrook feels about it, or LeBron feels about it, Jay-Z, Beyonce, people like that, people that you're probably a little bit more familiar with than you might have been with Nip. And this is not to say that Nip wasn't coming. He had just been nominated for a Grammy. I thought he had the best rap album of last year. He was steeped in, he was going to be that next big, huge West Coast rap star, I know for sure. He already was, and he was even going to get bigger. But when you see how much those people care, I think a lot of people who maybe were less familiar with him, that kind of made them kind of look into what it was that he was
doing. Unfortunately, that's the culture we have in 2019, is the influencers determine sometimes people finding out about stuff or learning more about stuff. And I thought in this case, it was used for good.
Yeah, I mean, it also is a reminder that, I mean, I think it's something, Van, clearly you know, but like the kind of overlapping Venn diagram of, I think Black celebrity, it's so like between like the sports world, the entertainment world, like these people of like, a similar age, like interact with each other. Like they like people know each other. It's not just like, oh, that was like someone I listened to. Like people from different like worlds of celebrity like truly do lean on each other, and like you really could see it wasn't just like only rappers. Like that Westbrook thing like tore me apart. Like that was like one of the great sports things I've ever seen, you know?
Barack Obama sent a letter to the
yeah, like this was like this is
shout out to Karen Civil. Like Barack Obama sent a letter to
like this was not like it's very interesting to think about like how you want to be remembered, like, you know, like thinking in the future, but like to actually have had that type of impact and have it be connected to your artistry, because I don't want to. Like the thing is, like it wasn't like his like the stuff he rapped about also reflected
without
the
a
stuff
doubt.
he did in real life. It wasn't like he had these two different worlds.
Yeah.
Like you listen to Victory Lap, and I'm like I'm ready to go like climb a mountain because it's like it's extremely like pro yourself, pro your community, pro everything, and. So yeah, I mean,
it's interesting how, so you think like 50 years ago when Ali couldn't fight and they had that big press conference when Russell and Jim Brown and Kareem, who was then Lou Alcindor, and they all came out to support him. And it was this big moment. There's like an iconic photo from it, but it was these sports figures coming together. It never really happened before. Yeah. And now you think 50 years later, it wouldn't just happen with sports now. It's like the sports community, the music community are so intertwined now. And I think that's something that's happened the last, 15 years probably, and it started with a lot of hip hop artists and rappers dropping athletes' names in songs. And and then they started hanging out. And then it was like the culmination was the Westbrook 2020.
Yeah, like you see
where that made sense. It would have made no sense 20 years ago. It would have been weird.
Yeah.
But now it's like, it just feels like they're all kind of aligned. They all know each other.
Well, also, yeah, everyone knows each other. Everyone's moving in sort of the same circles.
Everybody wants the same things.
Everyone wants the same things. I think one thing about social media that has changed our perception of celebrity, at least my perception and people around me that I know, is that when you know more of people, you ask more of them too.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So like it's like for a lot of us now, we love the music that people are putting out. We love what they're doing on the football field, on the basketball court, the 2 or 3 black guys that play Major League Baseball. We love all of that stuff.
Shout out to them.
Shout out to them. Like we love all of that stuff that they're doing, but we also want to see people that have been empowered in this way have a very, very strong foothold in these communities that they come from. And these guys, to be honest with you, are leading by example.
Yeah.
LeBron James is leading by example. Damian Lillard is leading by example. Kevin Durant is leading by example with what they're doing. And they understand the responsibility that they have. And by and large, I'm inspired by the way a lot of them, are living up to it. And really, they're some of the people that we should be talking about as well when we talk about these conversations. It shouldn't be all about who's famous and who can do the most, because there are a lot of people out there that are scrambling together donations to do things like this, and they need us more, and we should be with them more. But these guys they're like-minded. Nip was probably like-minded with Westbrook and LeBron and all of these guys. I know he was with LeBron. So they talk about strategies to help, and then they go out and they execute.
Jalen was the first person who I was friends with who was doing stuff like this.
Yeah, up in Michigan.
In a really significant way. That and he didn't make a big deal out of it. But, he started this school in Michigan.
Yeah.
And really puts a ton of time and energy into it, and it's really important to him.
It's
important to him for all these different reasons.
It's not a vanity project.
No, it's not at all. And it seems like that seems to be a trend, for lack of a better word, that people using their money and influence to try to make a difference, even if it's in one community. But if it turns out to be 30 communities, stuff's happening.
Yeah.
It seems like I feel like in that sense, we're in a better place.
I completely agree. I think it's like the reality is that we know too much now to like lean on like lack of knowledge or ignorance. Like it's just like I think it's a lot of like what you were saying, Van, about like social media, just in terms of, you know, the connections that people have. But it's almost like, wait, we're almost at a point now. It's like, wait, you got all that money, you're not going to help where you came from. Like it's like it's gotten to a point where that almost seems like an absurd thing, you know. And I think that's only elevated, I think, for minorities. I think there's a deeper sense of, you know, like the narrative of like making it out to then reinvest back is like part of the minority and Black like American dream story, you know, like that's like almost what you're supposed to do. Like the goal is to make something of yourself, and like you're supposed to turn back around and like make sure that you're pulling up other people. And like, you know, there's you know, that doesn't always go perfectly, you know, like there's lots of people who I feel like can't, you know, like maybe should take a couple steps away from home, because it's not the most productive place for them. But like I really,
or in Kanye's case, Earth. Try another planet.
Oh my God.
But and you know, also I think that we realize that there are opportunities. There are multiple opportunities in these communities, right? You can have a business in these in the community, like where I'm from in South Baton Rouge. You can have businesses down there that those communities will support, and that in turn will change the economic situation there. You can make money with your people in your community.
Yeah.
You can be viable. You can change political and economic systems there, and it can work for everyone. It's not like the money is any greener outside of this place, outside of these places, right? You can own real estate. You can do all of these things. And part of these things, part of cleaning up communities all over America, no matter what the people look like, is investing in them economically to the point to where there's actually money that's coming out of these places, where the businesses are safe, where the businesses are being frequented, and where people feel good about sort of supporting one another. And I think there's so much money being made by these athletes now, so much money being made by these rappers, more than ever before. It's smart financially to go back in there and invest into people who are so loyal to you, who are so committed to you. Like when I go to my barbershop, all we do is argue about these guys. They don't ever argue about us. I promise. You know what I'm saying? So like we're devoted to these guys, and so for them to invest a little bit, I think it makes sense even financially. It does.
You've been covering celebrities obviously at TMZ for what, this whole decade, most of this decade?
Yeah. Since 2011, 2010.
I think one of the things so we're heading the first, I guess, 20% of this decade or century is going to be up soon, 21st century.
Wow.
Almost,
I have not thought about that. Whoa, that's crazy.
Almost 1/5 of the way through.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's astonishing to me how the celebrity structure is now, how big of a real estate of that piece athletes, rappers, hip hop artists have in the hierarchy of that structure now. You think about, I don't know. So SNL's been around since 1975, right? And you think about the stuff SNL, the people they would parody on the show, and that it was predominantly white. They didn't even have Black cast members some years because it just wasn't what they did. But now it's like it seems like the show's not Black enough because most of the people everybody cares about are Black celebrities and athletes. And it's like, it's not like Sinatra and the Rat Pack from back when, or the Brady Bunch, or all of these people who have the most influence now, for the most part, are Black.
Yeah. I think we have a tremendous amount of social influence in that way. And the cool
factor, social media plays into it too.
Right.
Obviously.
I think the cool factor in America has always, to some point, largely been dictated by what goes on in the Black community.
Agreed.
But what I will say is that I think those guys now, they want a different sort of influence. Like there's influence in being able to make you buy sneakers. LeBron is putting your kids in college.
Right.
Yeah.
He's helping their parents get GEDs, right? He's feeding them.
But that's changed in the last 15 years.
Without a doubt.
It's different type of legacy
that's
building.
very
Yeah.
true.
It's
Yeah.
like
The legacy in the 90s was like, I wanted to make a lot of money and be really famous. And
Not
that's
gonna
what a
bring
lot of the
anybody up.
music was about. Yeah.
But if you think about it, it makes sense that that's evolved because we live like the way it goes now is like everyone can kind of be famous
Yeah.
a little
Yeah,
bit. So
yeah.
it's like,
True.
how do we separate?
Right.
Like, how do we further separate
Aunt
ourselves?
Becky's daughter could have 1.4 million Instagram
Yeah,
followers.
it's like it all begins to just be like, okay, so like, what do I want? Just to be the most famous? It's like, no, I need another. We have to add another lane when it comes to like legacy.
There's also, I don't know if competitiveness is the right word, but these guys all measure up to each other, and they're looking at who their peers are, who their rivals are, stuff like that. And if certain people are doing good things, it kind of puts the spotlight on you that you're not doing good things and that you should do good things, and it kind of becomes this snowball.
I think that's what's called like a positive trend. Like
it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing. The question, like because we've done this with other things. We do this with chains and belts, and all of Americans do chains, belts, and watches. What do you have? The question is now not what do you have, like, but what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? I'm doing this. What are you doing? And not everyone can do the I Promise School because not everyone can be that kind of guy. Not everyone can do the $300 million or $50 million deal that Durant's doing back in his home. But everybody can do something. That's just not about famous people. Everyone can do something, right?
Yeah. I also think it's just thinking about like what drives people like right now. I think we definitely live in a world where people want to be able to like exist in as many circles as possible.
Word.
Yeah.
I think back to like the middle of this decade, like going to South by Southwest and like, seeing athletes hang out with like tech dudes and all, like everyone wants to be like as many hyphenates as possible. And I feel like that's even more important than being the most famous in one thing. It's like, oh, I do this, I do this, I do this. Like the problem is sometimes people just do too much stuff and they don't do anything that well. But I do think that is one of the things that people are trying to, in their like legacy building that everyone kind of does, because anyone can legacy build at this point. It's like trying to excel at as many different things and then like, rub shoulders with as many different types of people and not just like, oh, I'm, one of the 5 most important people in this one thing.
Well, basketball is you look at the last 40 years of basketball, right? Like Jordan was the first athlete to really look at basketball as a way for him to also make money doing a couple other things. And then that went through the 80s. The Magic, in the beginning of the 90s, there was this SI cover, I think it was called like Magic Inc. when he was before the HIV thing came out. And it was like, I want to be a businessman after I finished playing basketball.
Yeah.
People are like, whoa, wow, really?
First time I ever heard anyone even talk like that.
So then you go through,
Right.
we go through the 90s and athletes are mostly like, I just want to make a lot of money. But I don't have another plan other than that. I just want to be famous, make money. And now the LeBron generation has shifted the paradigm in a lot of different ways. And now the guys come in the league, even before they become super famous and successful, are like, what's my plan? Should I have a content company?
How do I stay relevant basically forever?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like it's almost like 15 years ago, people realized that careers ended. Like your athletic career ended. Like that's why you get dudes coming in the league and when they're like out of the playoffs, they're already doing like, commentating, like they're already planning for like
that's like
their second wave even before they even.
Yeah, like we have Vince Carter right now who knows he's going to retire. He does a great podcast for us. He knows he wants to do TV.
Great podcast.
He's had this planned out for 3, 4, 5 years. And I think it's interesting because I don't think people really thought that way I would say LeBron's generation was the first kind. But remember that Carmelo Anthony ESPN the magazine feature that we made fun of, where he had like the office in Brooklyn, but it was empty. He's like, I'm gonna be a mogul, but he wasn't saying anything, and we were like, oh, this is where it goes bad, where somebody's like, I want to be a mogul, but I have no plan at all.
Yeah.
But
this all has to do with Jordan, if you ask me.
Well, he's the George Washington of this.
Jordan, the interest in Michael Jordan it never went away. The brand never faltered, right? It never went away. And so I think a lot of these guys who are fruit off that tree, they look around and they go, yo, how am I going to keep people interested in me until I'm 50 wearing oversized jeans in Vegas playing golf? You know what I mean? Like, how am I going to keep these same people? You guys need to do a whole podcast on these jeans. We don't talk enough about Jordan.
The one with the mayonnaise?
It's like Michael, like Jordan in these, what's going on, Mike? You know what I mean? Like, what? Like, I don't understand why he dresses like
is there a rifle?
Yeah, what's the deal?
Remember that weird mustache he grew that people were calling the Hitler mustache?
What the hell was going on for the Hayes commercial?
Yeah.
Mike, relax.
I think it also, like, I do think, like, all roads lead back to Mike, but sitting here, I'm like, also, like, a lot of roads lead back to Shaq.
Yeah, he's another good one.
That's true. Like,
Shaq's more popular now than he ever was when he played. It's amazing. He's in 40 commercials.
Yeah. It's amazing. Shaq is going to save Papa John's.
And I love
that was a brilliant move by them.
Shaq was going to save Papa John's. So
really
Papa John's was the racist pizza.
Yeah.
It was
and it happened at the same time that Domino's got good.
Right.
I was like, yo, y'all are
right. Yeah, Papa John and
the MAGA pepperoni.
Exactly, right. And Papa John's thought to themselves, listen, we've been declining 5 quarters in a row. Like the people are burning Papa John's pizza boxes. Like, well, like, what can we do? And which is wild, right? Like what can we do? Who can we get?
Who can we save us? It's a list of like Shaq, Jay-Z.
Yeah. Right.
It's like 4 people.
And then that commercial for the General comes on and they're like, we need Shaq.
It's like, how racist can the pizza be if Shaq said it's cool?
Right.
You know what I mean? And I mean that. I'm not even saying.
And then he takes no shit for it.
Yeah. No shit.
Because people love Shaq.
Yeah.
Like, in my
mind, I'm like, still racist. But
right. No, it's still racist, right? I still don't eat Papa John's. He's gonna be pissed off when he hears this. I still don't eat Papa John's, right? But it did make me go, man, what are they doing over there at Papa John's, man? Are they really making an effort? Like, are they really? Because if they're really trying,
let's take a break. Talk about Papa John's. No. Let's actually talk about Hair Club. Sometimes one change can make all the difference in your confidence. Hair Club knows this. That's why they're inviting you to see how getting the most out of your hair can change your life. Hair Club is the leader in total hair solutions with a legacy of success for over 40 years. Whether you're looking to revitalize the growth of your hair or learn more about the latest proven methods for hair replacement and restoration, Hair Club's professionally trained stylists, hair health experts, and consultants will craft a personalized solution. I know some people in my life that struggle with hair loss. Not great. I struggle with the facial hair version of hair loss. Just feel like I could.
Did you ever never had it, or it's
just
hard
wish
to get?
it was a little bushier.
Me too.
Yeah, I wish there was Facial Hair Club. Maybe that'll be their next product. Go to hairclub.com/Simmons to get a free hair health and scalp analysis for new customers and enjoy a $250 savings on any qualifying Hair Club service after your initial consultation. Man, a facial hair club, that could come through for me. That's hairclub.com/Simmons for a free hair health and scalp analysis and a $250 savings on any qualifying Hair Club service after your initial consultation. Hairclub.com/Simmons. You know, one other thing that changed, because we did the 30 for 30 about athletes going broke, which was, I think, like 9 years ago.
I remember that.
Shout out Andre Rison, my king.
And this was an epidemic, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, of people making money and blowing it. And the league didn't educate them. They had bad people around them. They made all the same mistakes over and over again. And now I think and I think that documentary helped, but just the education and the generations and people learning from the past. These guys actually save their money now. And you have people making a lot of money and not squandering it.
Marshawn.
So all of that money.
Marshawn Lynch. That's the first name that jumped into my mind.
He didn't touch his money.
When you think about fiscal
Rob Gronkowski didn't touch his money.
Yeah,
incredible.
Like Marshawn Lynch. Like, shout out to Lynch, man. Marshawn Lynch. Like, a guy who America would paint the picture as a guy who would blow his money. By the way, another guy who's very active in his community.
Marshawn is has a very Nipsey-esque
very
story.
like
Absolutely.
very active.
And also beloved by a whole bunch of people that but doesn't promote
and
it.
bucks every stereotype you actually think.
Right. And when I heard that warmed my heart, that this man he's got his eye on his financial future and is being very smart and responsible with it. Like,
but that could be over the next 10, 15 years. There could be a lot of people doing good who actually have the money to do some good
without a
versus where we were in 1997.
I'll be honest with you, and that's another thing that's happening, at least from what I see in the Black community. I think for a long time, there was a sense that the government should be doing more in these neighborhoods, and I think that they absolutely should. I think that there are a lot of things that were created systemically in these places that there should be higher ups that are dedicated to trying to solve. But I think that there's also been an awakening in the last 10, 15 years that really we're at a point in our community where if we lean on each other and invest into each other, we're really all we need to fix some of the issues that are going on there.
But Killer Mike's always talking about.
Always, always. We're really all we need to fix some of these things. And what we have to do is have a sense of accountability and a sense of partnership. And if we have that, we really can move things forward. I think like not just because we talk about like athletes, think about everything that Hov is doing, that Jay is doing, that Jay-Z is doing in all different aspects. These guys they're leading by example, and that's inspiring to see.
Yeah.
What do we do about Kanye? Did we give up?
It's
over?
I am not going, okay, this is I need to talk about this.
I'm glad I brought it up.
Thank you. I'm just like so not pleased with everyone hopping back on his bandwagon because of these pseudo gospel concerts he does in the desert.
Yeah.
It literally, I'm just like, if there's one thing that's ever bailed out anyone, it's a black choir.
Yeah.
Like a black choir will make any situation better.
Yeah.
So Trump should more black choirs.
It will happen in the next 2 months. I promise. He's gonna fight.
I'll be honest with you. I'd be surprised if you can't find video right now of Trump with a black choir behind him. I bet it exists. I bet that because some of the players. I bet that those black. I bet he's gonna lean on because he leans on the black pastors. By the way, there's a whole black pastors for Trump
that are just bought off.
So when the report comes out, the choir is gonna be locked up and ready to go.
Oh my God. Yeah, but no, because I was considering. Going
to a Sunday service
to Coachella. This Sunday where he's doing a Easter morning like choir service, and people are acting like this is. I was like, just go to a church.
Yeah,
just go to a black church.
Yeah,
like it's watching. And I'm not someone that's like, oh, I'm gonna hold a grudge on someone forever, blah blah blah. But it just like it literally is like, oh wow, it's not a good thing if Kanye knows all he has to do is bring out a choir, and then everyone be like, yo, that's my guy.
To me, it's like, Ye did so much to make the culture love him, man. He did. When I say, like, when you go back and listen to old Kanye stuff, every single song has, it's so, like, every single song is speaking directly to you. The music is fantastic, of course, but every single song is speaking about things that we're intimately acquainted with, that things that are on top of our heads. Like, even just conceptually, he did so much to make us love him, but then he did a whole hell of a lot to make us not want to fuck with him anymore either, right? So to me, it's almost at a point like this, it's where I just kind of throw my hands up. Like, I don't wish ill on Kanye West, but I've lost the enthusiasm. It's football. It's the NFL.
Another boycott.
Yeah,
Fans just boycotting things left and right.
Me and my fucking crib.
It's not like an active hate or like I'm just like I can't.
You're just out.
I can't dedicate. Like I have dedicated so much brain space and like time writing and thinking about Kanye, like so much.
It's like having a crazy cousin that. You just can't get rid of.
You know what's crazy about that? It is like that. And you know why? Why it's like that is because you have that crazy cousin, right? And you have this problematic, kind of complicated relationship with him. But also, when you see him doing well, you're happy about it.
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing that fucks with you. Like when I when the first video of Kanye with the choir came out, and it was like, hey yo.
I was like,
oh shit. I was like, look at Ye. And I was like, wait, what am I doing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh my God. Like when you see Kanye happy and smiling and doing well, I kind of like, yeah.
The small, like it's happening to me 10 seconds after what I just said. I'm like I'm literally like, God, I hope Kanye's fine. I hope he's having a good day.
I don't understand. Like we've made so many strides with the mental health thing the last couple of years, and this is somebody who clearly has major mental health problems, but people are still mad at him. So that's where,
Bill.
Huh?
Don't get me started, man. We for some reason, we includes everyone, even including me, treated a man who was clearly crying out for help different than we've treated everyone else who's been in that same place.
Yeah, so why was that?
I don't know. I'm
still in on Kanye.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not out on Crazy Cousins, so but it's like I think a lot of people.
I just think the dude is like really damaged, and I do feel like some of the stuff that was happening was like cry out for help stuff.
Yeah,
and I don't know. People just seem to hold it to him to a much higher standard.
Yeah, now,
I don't defend some of the stuff he did, but it just seems like the acts of somebody.
No, I get it. I just think
nut job.
I think I will say this though, from talking to people who know Ye and talking to people around him directly that deal with him, right? I think that he, more than anything, it's possible that Kanye West did not even realize how famous he was. And what I mean by that is, it's possible he didn't realize how deeply we were actually going to be hurt by some of the things that he did, because he didn't understand how much his words meant to us and to other people. And I think that people had to actually convince him of that. And I think that they have. And I think that he's going to move a little bit differently in terms of the way he's perceived, by the hip hop community, by the community at large. In the future, I think that he finally understood it. Like I had GLC on the podcast, and one of Kanye's collaborators going way back, and he said, "Yo, like I told Kanye, we had to get rid of all the hats," and he said he got rid of all the hats, and I'm like, "Now, listen, you gonna say that? This motherfucker gonna be in a hat in 2 weeks." You know what I'm saying? But we put that out, and you haven't really seen him do it.
Here's the thing: America loves comebacks. We just saw it. We just saw it with Eldrick Woods. People just loved it, and he's back, and he's wearing the same red shirt again, and he's hitting long drives.
I got crucified
everybody's
for
in.
It. I'm not fucking with it.
What do you mean?
I'm not fucking. I texted you about it. I don't care. I don't care about Tiger Woods, man.
It's another boycott.
Tiger. Yeah, I want to know what you're what you are doing.
My point is,
shout out to Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods has never gave a fuck about black people, man. He's never given a fuck with everything that Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods is the polar opposite of all the guys.
So he's Jordan.
Talking about. Hey, I gotta do something with the Jordan Browne.
Oh my God.
I gotta do something with the Jordan Browne. But
don't fuck up the money.
Make sure to check course first.
Right, yeah, right. But whatever, man. Shout out to shout out to
Yo, Tiger did that. It was so tight. I'm sorry.
Shout out to Tiger Woods.
I loved it. It was so nice to have him back. It was one of my happiest sports moments in a long time. And I don't care that
I don't want to see Tiger Woods not win for the I don't want to see Tiger Woods with everything that we thought he was going to accomplish and what we knew he was going to be in golf. I don't want to see him not achieve that. But I just also want to see him.
When somebody hits rock bottom and comes out of it.
We all do.
And learns from it and makes some adjustments and comes back and comes within 80, 90% of what they used to be. Shout out to him.
I really did like the interaction he had with his kids. It was like the first time Tiger seemed like a human being. I was like, oh my God, like he knows his kids. That's awesome. I was like tearing up watching the whole everything after the final putt, and I was like, okay,
I was thinking of what my son would have been capable of in the exact same moment, and how much TV time he would have tried to grab Kyle.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Oh, totally.
First of all, he would have put a lot more thought into his outfit. Would have been really tight,
curated,
sneakers up. He just would have been like, I'm going to be on TV. This is important.
Straight
and
up
then
sports
he would have
question.
been right in front of me the whole time in the camera.
Straight up sports question. Is like Nicholas in trouble now? Is now Tiger, is he back?
Nicholas is so pissed. He's like, I thought I buried this guy.
It's like, listen.
I thought this was done. I already had the party.
Think about the stages that Nicholas went through. He went from thinking maybe he had a shot to I'm fucked in like the mid 2000s.
Yeah, I'm done.
I'm done. To thinking, wait a second.
I might be out of this.
I might be out of this. To now really having to be like back thinking.
He's got to sweat it out.
Nicholas definitely leaked that David Boreanaz story. He was like, yo, I got to get this fucking guy out of here.
He got his sons together. He's like, all right, Project Tiger.
Yeah.
We got to disparage this guy. It's going to be a fun next couple of years.
How far is he away? What is that?
5?
Is 5 away?
Or
no,
that was 15, right?
He's 3 away from tying him.
From tying him.
He's 1 Masters away. But he could be if he wins a major next decade, he'd be the first guy to ever win majors in 4 decades, which has never happened. And I don't know.
Here's
the thing.
Here's the thing. I know I agree with you that like black people are not a huge priority to Tiger, but I do love it that he does still like piss off racists. I think some racists, even though
that's something to be. Yeah.
So I'm just like, that's good, but then also it also kills me because he like golfs with Trump.
Yeah.
And
what's funny is I think the Asian community takes it more personally than the black community.
What do you mean?
Because his mom is Thai.
I know, but like takes what personally though?
Just that he kind of is gravitated toward the black side versus the Asian side.
Yeah, well, that's an American thing. I mean,
that's just because we're louder.
Yeah, that's an American thing.
We're just like, wait, what?
Like we, you know,
I love us for
Tiger
it.
won the Masters, and literally, me and my homeboys went to LSU's golf course the next day. Like, yo, we want to play golf. What do we do?
Yeah, I need 3 clubs.
Yeah, I need 3 clubs. Like, we want to play golf, and we like
wood and iron and putter.
like so. Yeah. I don't know. It affected us a great deal.
What would be let's leave on this note. What is Kanye's 2019 Masters? What could that be? What does that look like?
Oh God. God, I mean,
it would have to be some high profile platform.
It would not be music. If he like somehow like took a meeting with Trump and then just like televised, like cursed him out or something, like
a camera
denounced Trump in front of Trump. Like I feel like somehow Kanye could be the one to take down Trump.
Wow,
that seems just like at this point, what hasn't he done?
So he puts a little camera on his tie, and tapes Trump saying all this stuff.
If Kanye gets Trump impeached,
I think
Kanye finds the
2019 Masters.
I think that's what he does.
I definitely think high level espionage would be.
That's all it can be.
Right, that would definitely work. You know what I think would be like something. I think that if Kanye and Jay came back together, all would be forgiven.
Wow.
I think if Kanye and Jay came back together,
like Watch the Throne 2020,
like Watch the Throne 2. Like I think that there are still some people with everything that Jay is doing. There's still some people that ask themselves, all right, even if you're cool on Ye and you're good with Ye, why don't they seem to be as close as what they were? What is the Knowles, Carter, Kemp thinking in their head about Kanye West that's sort of stopping them from being as tethered as what they used to be? I think a lot of people are looking at, by the way, Jay has come out and said, don't do that. Don't Michael and Prince me and Ye. Don't try to separate us. Don't do that. But we still haven't seen, to me, those guys be the same way that they were. And if Watch the Throne 2 came out, which would be fantastic because the first was
I have the title.
Remarkable.
Game of Thrones.
I like it.
It's not bad.
No?
It's part of it's not bad because it's your podcast, but yeah, it's like
Game of Thrones. They can't just call it Watch the Throne again.
It would
call it Throne 2020, something like that. Throne 2020.
Wait. I did not think that we were going to get Bill to A&R hip hop album while we were here doing the
who can't? Everyone can.
Just Throne? What would they call it?
This is a working title. It's fine.
It would probably be just Watch the Throne 2.
I think so.
Yeah,
I don't like Watch the Throne 2.
I think that would be Watch the Throne 2.
Just Throne.
Just Throne.
Well, is it on on Spotify and everything, isn't that album like the album artist like The Thrones or like
The Throne is the name of their group.
Throne. Yeah.
So
but
the Throne.
Isn't the move to add a third person? You blow it out. It's like when The Rock joined Fast Five.
Oh wow, that would be crazy.
You had like Kendrick and it's
Kendrick
three of them.
Yeah.
Honestly, the way Kanye everything is fine is if somehow he does something with Beyonce. Like that's the actual answer. Like because I do feel like part of the reason I've always had this theory. Like part of the reason that Kanye and Jay are kind of
it's the wives don't get along.
Is like I just feel like Beyonce and Beyonce's mom, the whole Knowles family is just like I don't want. My grandkids around their grandkids.
Yeah, they're not fucking with the Kardashians.
Yeah, I really feel like we're gonna keep this.
It's a good move.
And I think it's shout out to Tina Knowles. I think it makes sense.
What if there was an album? How about this one?
Here we go.
Four Kings, and it was and you add Drake, and you do the four of them, and they put out an album.
So Kendrick and Drake.
Yeah.
So then Kendrick, Drake, Ye, and. Yeah, Bill, obviously that would be fucking spectacular if that were.
What if it was 8 thrones?
What if you just
with that trend on Twitter?
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, obviously if that happened.
Old Town Road,
right,
Kanye remix.
Yeah.
No, I think also another interesting wrinkle is like Kanye and Taylor Swift are kind of both like recluses right now.
Well, she's hinting that something's coming.
Yeah, and what if it's
Instagram
an album with Kanye?
That would be wild.
An album, Kanye album, a country album.
Like because I mean, shout out to Lil Nas X. I mean, now we're gonna see more rappers in country than ever before.
It's such a good song.
I'm telling you, it is. I'm telling you, man.
Who's the next big rapper?
You ever heard Old Town Road?
That country song.
Yeah, isn't that the one? What did we do?
Yeah, it's Lil Nas X.
We did a Thrones thing.
That's the guy that did that. So
he could replace Drake on my Rushmore.
Whoa.
He's that's
on
fantastic.
Four Kings. Yeah. All right, I'll talk to my people as I put it together. The Four Kings concert presented by the Ringer.
Right. Yeah.
Ringer Records, baby.
Ringer Records, baby.
Bad news. We couldn't get Drake.
Right.
Ringer Records.
And just think about.
R. Kelly wants him, but we told him no.
Think about the pitch. Do you think this would work? What if we were able to get Jay-Z, Kanye West, Drake, and Kendrick Lamar?
A&R by Bill Simmons.
Like all on the same.
Presented by the Ringer.
Do you think people will be into that? Like, yeah, they will fuck with that, Bill. Like,
Hashtag Four Kings.
Hashtag Four Kings, man.
Do you think they'd be into that?
You think they would be into that? Yeah, they will fuck with that.
That's how we save Kanye. This is it. Four Kings. We came up with it.
There it is.
I'm excited. Van, Rem, thank you.
Thank you.
What do you want to promote, Van? Anything?
Oh, Red Pill Podcast, baby.
All right.
Every week.
I want to come on.
Yeah. Oh, I would love to have you on the Red Pill Podcast.
We just met.
Now you know each other.
Yeah, we go.
Thanks for coming up.
Of course.
All right. Thanks to DAZN. Don't forget to watch their Whip Around Baseball show, and don't forget to sign up. It is super duper easy. You can get it on basically any account that you have. Check it out. Some big boxing coming up right now. Thanks to Hair Club, whether you're looking to revitalize the growth of your hair or learn more about the latest proven methods for hair replacement and restoration, Hair Club will craft a personalized solution. Go to hairclub.com/Simmons today to get a free hair health and scalp analysis for new customers. Enjoy a $250 savings on any qualifying Hair Club service after your initial consultation. Hairclub.com/Simmons. Check that out, and check out JCPenney. Specifically, Collection by Michael Strahan is available exclusively at JCPenney. Makes it easy to look good and feel your best no matter the occasion. Suit separates, sport coats, dress shirts, neckwear, belts, accessories, basics, denim, luggage, shoes, big and tall, boy sizes too. Collection by Michael Strahan, available exclusively at JCPenney. Visit a store near you or go to jcp.com. Don't forget about the rewatchables. Field of Dreams going up later, I guess on Friday afternoon. And then Ryan Russillo and I are coming back on Sunday. Late night. Kyle knows now. We feed him.
Yeah.
He has would you have, a Red Bull or a Starbucks double shot or something?
Pete's. You gave me the Pete's.
Pete's. Give you a Pete's.
I'm going to show up early next time if you let me.
Pete's. He's going to show up earlier. We'll be putting that up late night. And then, and then we'll do it all again. Go Celtics. Enjoy the weekend. We'll be back on Sunday night.